Good news, everyone. We've got another episode about Slice and Dice coming at you today. This video is going to be intended for people between 5 and 500 games, beginner to intermediate level. So there's going to be some more advanced stuff in this video, but I'll try to talk about it at beginner level so you can kind of see where you need to go. I've got about 1,000 games in. I went to college to be a teacher, so I know a thing or two about education as well. I studied chess for years and played Dungeons and Dragons and things like that. So I've got a pretty good background coming into this game in the first place, and I want to make it easier for people who have played other games like Slay the Spire or something like that can come into this game and have an idea of what you're trying to do. This video is going to be focused on decision making and in-game planning in particular, because I think that's what is going to hold people at the intermediate level back. My previous video, I talked about playing on normal for longer instead of jumping into hard and unfair and stuff like that, so that you can get a grip on the fundamental skills that you need in the game, and the curses won't be confusing you on what you need to improve in your gameplay in general. And speaking on that in particular, I've reset everything in the game, and I'm not going to have on bypass unlocks or wild modifiers and stuff like that. This is all stuff that is good for fun when you've played the game a lot and it's starting to get a bit stale. You can throw in some of this randomness. But people who are trying to win streak in this game on like harder, unfair, you really want to mitigate luck as much as possible and focus on consistency, like avoiding the bad luck, because once you have a pretty good idea of how to win the game, it's going to be more about luck with you losing than it is going to be about skill. But you have to develop that skill first. So we're going to start on normal, and we're going to go basic. Again, these are just like the randomness to the game, as far as like if you're getting bored, these things can be fun, but I don't generally consider them to be viable on a higher level. These green characters are very gimmicky and can put you in a bad spot if you get one that doesn't go with the team that you have. Up here, there's a reroll button that you can use if your team is bad or your curses are bad. Right here, you get one reroll, so you don't want to waste it. If something over here is viable, or something in here is viable, you probably want to just go ahead and take it. And that's a general rule of thumb in this game, that when you're rolling the dice, choosing characters, choosing curses and stuff like that, you want to learn how to settle for things that are okay, because the more you reach for the high roll, the higher the chance that you can also get a low roll as well. So I'm going to skip the tweaks and stuff like that because we're doing an educational video. First thing I'm going to do is look at the general strength of my team. And you can look at tier lists if you want, but the more that you play the game, you'll get a general idea of who's strong and who's not. Dabble is good. Um, Ruffian is not great because he can kill himself with this pain side, and he can be a pain in the butt to keep alive. Buckle's good, Splint is great, and Prodigy is kind of crappy. So got a bit of a mix here. We've got a couple good characters, a great character, and two not that great. And then the next thing I'm gonna do, evaluate a position, is to see if anyone's dying. No one is. So now I'm going to focus on trying to kill one of these monsters to reduce their damage output. I'm not gonna, I'm gonna try to stay away from explaining things that are too simple. I don't want this to be, I want it to be good for people that know how to play games and they just want to learn how to be better at this game in particular versus trying to figure out tactics and things like that. I'll leave that part of the game to you. You're gonna have to develop those skills anyway, regardless of what I teach you here. All right, so character choices. The first thing that we need to think about is the floor 4 boss. You've got Troll, Alpha, and Bramble. All three of these characters are basically a damage check on your team. So, if you don't do enough damage, they're going to kill you. And so, one of the main things you need to think about is orange, yellow, and blue are going to be your damage dealing characters. And we want to think about who's crappy and who's good. And we want to get rid of our crappy characters first if we can. Like, for example, here you can see Vampire. Vampire is arguably the best red tier 2 that you can get, but there's a couple others that are also pretty good as well, like Herbalist and Druid. There's one other that's good. Let's look at the ledger real quick. And Disciple, who's probably maybe arguably the other best character as well. So Splint is like probably the best tier 1 red. So we would like to not upgrade getting rid of an S-class character. For an S-class character, if we can get something better up here as well. It's not a bad pick at all, but we'd like to get rid of one of these bad characters first if we can, or just increase our damage output in general. And if you look at Dabble, you can see that her damage output is typically about 1, and she has 1-2 side. And then Ranger has a conditional 4 side, and also another 2 side. Does maybe slightly better damage. So this is kind of tough because they're both basically lateral moves. Ranger is good average type orange character, but this is like a great character, and she's already with like a 3 side, increasing my damage output more than someone that would do 2 per turn. Yeah, like maybe this is just a burst, and she is better, but Ranger is more of an upgrade to Dabble than Vampire is to Splint, so I'm gonna go with that choice right there. You also have to think about the fight in front of you. This is pretty early to be worried about something like that, but it is nice to have someone that can do range on a Thorn or something like that. And be able to help you win the fight in front of you. So we can get out of here. Big shield or arrow. Okay, level 1 through 3 items are mostly garbage. So I would not stress myself out too much about getting a good one. There are a handful of good items on the low level, like Quicksilver, Polearm, and I personally like Titan's Bane Potion. Some people don't think it's all that great, but I think it's good. It neutralizes Hexia pretty much, and also can be helpful on Inevitable, getting rid of his ghostly pips. And for like a level 1 item, if it's useful once, one time, if it's useful in one fight, one time, I will consider the level 1 item doing its job. And if you get any more out of that, great. And if it doesn't do anything, not a big deal, because the opportunity cost isn't that high in the first place. So a lot of people will suggest that you go with a left side replacer because there's a hero called Roulette, and this sticky mandatory death side can ruin you in the end game. 7 damage is not enough damage output to lose an entire character over. But her being in the pool will kind of, make you take pause anytime you want to random your tier 3 character. So that's typically what people will suggest just to give you that flexibility in the end game. And Big Shield's actually one of the better items that you can get because a lot of the times your lower tier character is going to be doing some form of shield 4 on the left side anyway, and it's actually an upgrade for him because now he just always blocks 4, not just when he has full health. So we'll go ahead and keep that, and we can maybe put that shield on Ruffian and keep him alive so he can do that 5 damage, which would be nice. So Splint's dying here. We want some kind of shield. But we do have mana, so we can shield her in the worst case scenario. And Ruffian, I think we'll keep this in. Because let's see, let's lock the dice real quick and see if we do this. All we've got to do is come up with one more mana or damage here. We can kill this bee and save Ruffian too. So we're actually going to lock these 3 dice and assume that one of these 2 guys can come up with something, which might be a bad assumption. But even if Ruffian dies, it's not a huge deal. Alright, not a big deal. You want to avoid losing characters as much as possible, but a character like Ruffian, a lot of the times he's just going to kill himself, and you just go with it. There's a green character called Tinder that he typically dies every time, so you just learn to live with it on certain characters. Now this item is pretty good. But there's no way you want to take a bandit here. Troll's one of the harder bosses to fight on floor 4, if not the hardest. So we definitely don't want to be increasing this. This guy has a particular weakness that he flees if an adjacent monster is overkilled by 2 or more. And if there was like some weak creature up here that we could easily overkill on the first turn, you could consider taking this. So, like, Bramble has a rat that's above him, and we could just 5-shot him and get rid of the bandit right off the bat. So, it's not an always no, but here is definitely going to be. And we're going to hope that we can replace Prodigy here with someone better, or Ruffian. That is not better. Okay, so Guardian is one of the best. Tier 2 Grays, if arguably not the best. An Evoker is one of the worst. But we do need to increase our damage here. We want to be doing probably about 5 damage per round to kill Troll. And we're looking more like 2, 1, 3, maybe 5. We're like just barely maybe doing it. Yeah, we're gonna have to go Evoker. Not my favorite thing, but you know, that's the game sometimes. It forces you to choose a character that's not that great, but we have the threat right in front of us that we need to take care of. Let's see here. 4 shield. Does 1 damage to... Okay, so he would just barely be alive. We grab this 4 shield, put it on him, and then he does the 5 damage. He'll do 1 damage to himself, and even if we... And Troll's doing 2 damage to him. So he'll be at 1 health, but we have to roll this 4 shield. That's the only choice that we have, so we're going to not go that route because there's a good chance that we don't hit the 4 shield. And we'll try to keep him healthy on this first turn so that we can do the 5 later. We will re-roll this 1 time, and then if it's not something, we'll keep it. Okay, this is not a bad roll. We got lethal right here. Rejuvenation 1 or powdered mana. Again, like I said, these 1 through 3 items are mostly garbage, so you don't have to worry about it too much. This item happens to be really good for Evoker since he's got these blank sides. We can roll down for the 3 every time, so I'm gonna go for that. And then there you go. Like, sometimes the game forces you to get a bad character, and then you get an item that kind of covers up his negative attributes, and now he's not bad. He's got 10 health. He's got a move that does 4 damage for 3 mana. You know, and he'll make at least 1 mana per turn. That's pretty decent. Now that we've gone past the floor 4 boss, we're gonna start running into what the game refers to as hero-sized monsters. And The thing that you should know about hero sized monsters is that they typically have some sort of weakness that you can exploit. And so, like, for example, this guy flees if he's alone. This character has uh, a special HP at 5 that if you do basically exactly this much damage, he'll die and you don't have to do the last 2. But if you look at the monsters in this section, so Golem doesn't have obvious weakness in like the words here, but he has 2 health and starts with 8 shields. 2 health is extremely weak to poison, dies in 1 or 2 turns. So he does have a very exploitable weakness. Sparky can also zap him as well since he has 2 health. Gnolls reduce damage by 1 but only have 3 health. Their weakness is a character that can hit him for 4 damage. Snakes don't have a weakness in particular, but they only have 5 health. Blinds flee if no damage is dealt, so you can get rid of them by just shielding and healing everyone. Warchief does not have a weakness either, and he boosts people around him. Usually you just focus him down on turn 1 so that he doesn't boost it. And then Quartz, we've got the 5th HP. Pseudos don't have a particular weakness other than they're very random. Sometimes they roll 2, 1, or 3 and then are not a big threat. Militia runs if the person they're attacking has 5 shields. This guy flees if his neighbor is killed by 2 or more. And he dies if he gets a hit of 4 damage. And then you've got these 3 very nice fellows on the bottom here that don't have particular weaknesses. And yeah, they're just going to be tough to deal with in general. So if you see these guys, just know that you might need to be on your A game. Fanatics, you want to typically shield and let them just kill themselves. And then, we've got other characters down here that are going to be more of a pain in the butt and press on our weaknesses, but we'll get to that when we get there. So we want to, like, looking at this formation, if we can kill the Quartz and the Goblin, we can make one of these Goblins flee. So I'm going to try and do 5 damage to this guy, and that'll save Buckle. We can get rid of one of these goblins and save Buckle, but we need Buckle. That's right, we rolled down here since we can't miss. We want one of these guys to come up with something here. Is 2 damage enough to see where we're at, and then we can do that. So since this is obviously not the ideal turn, but we're gonna take all of this and we're gonna, since we have a guarantee that all of our characters live, we kill something, this turn is good enough, so we're gonna keep it. Bam, and we're done. I'm gonna say no. I generated heroes, huge amount of risk here, and I don't want to take that risk. Like I said, I'm trying to teach you guys how to win streak and stuff like that, and you want to mitigate choices like this. If it was a very obvious dire situation, sometimes this stuff can bail you out, but I wouldn't do something like that unless I was in danger of losing if I didn't do it. So, now that we're past the floor 4 boss, we can think about floor 8 bosses, which are the witches, slime queen, and Belle. Um, and they're all different and come with their own challenges. Um, but generally, having good damage is going to win boss fights. Slime Queen has a pacing aspect to her, and Belle is more about defending yourself than doing damage. So, you're just gonna kind of have to shoot for a generally, all around good team for this boss fight coming up, and not focus on one aspect in particular. So the choices: armor is not great. Herbalist is good. Uh, she's not the best, but this is a downgrade, I would say, from a good character to okay at best character. I'd say he's probably kind of bad. And then this is like an S class hero, but this character is like still an A anyway. So I'm gonna take that for overall strength in the team. I would have preferred probably a yellow choice to get out of Ruffian, but it is what it is. We gotta play the game that we get. He can just kill this snake, so I'll show you. If we do this, he'll stay alive and also get rid of the character that's attacking him. So we'll stick with these. This is the second best thing you can do, so I'm gonna go ahead and lock that as well, and then we'll see what we can do with the rest of these guys. Okay, Buckle. I didn't just keep you on the team for no reason. Didn't drop that cat. Well, I'm so used to playing Evoker with no sides, and if he hits anything, you just grab it immediately. I think that's lethal. Pocket Phylactery or Longbow. Okay, so Pocket Phylactery is one of the better items that you can get on tier 3. Longbow isn't terrible either. We could get rid of these one sleeve sides on Ranger and make his damage more consistently. That, or we can get rid of these one damage sides as well. This item goes best on Pilgrim since he doesn't have sides that cause him damage on the left side. And also the extra HP helps him stun things. So it's a really good item for him in particular. And Longbow can be good for Evoker as well to give him some extra sides, which we don't need since we got powdered mana. But it's something to think about. We could give this to Ruffian since he already has pain on his left side, but now he has 5 HP increased, and we've got to real character here now, and we should be able to do the floor 8 boss fight without too much issue. This is pretty good for the slate. We think we're gonna try and get rid of first. Buckle is dying. We need someone to come up with something here. Alright, excellent. And then see if Ruffian decides to join the party. We don't even need to do that because slates are weak to herbalist fine. That's one of the reasons why I think this character is really good, because of slates and graves. Looks like a good enough turn to me. Let's see where we're at here. So we can have lethal if Ruffian decides to do anything. Okay. Wait. Drop. There we go. Bell. Okay. If we get a better gray here, which we don't, it's something to think about since we're going to be trying to survive this fight more than do damage, but that's okay. Bard is arguably the worst tier 2 character at all. So I probably wouldn't pick him under most circumstances. I'm sure he has his place in a different game mode or in a different group or something like that, but in general, on basic, I don't think he's that good. This shields for 1. This cantrip doesn't hit often enough and doesn't necessarily hit the person that you want to be worth it versus someone that just has like 4 shield. 6 health is also just weak. He's got the same health as tier 1 character. So, and I hate to give up Ruffian after getting Baka Phylactery and turning him into a real character, but it'll be okay because this guy shields himself and doesn't take this damage, so it's not hurting us in any way. Let's see here. Buckle wants a 4 shield. We lock the 2 and try to come up with 2 mana. I think we roll one more time. There's the 2 mana. Alright, he comes up with the 4 shield anyway. And you're typically, he's going to exert himself this turn. So we can kind of focus on just letting this fanatic kill himself. And then this turn shouldn't be too hard to do some damage here. And yeah, he's done. Short sword or eye patch. Okay, so we're out of the crappy items. And these items 4 through 6 typically will change the way that your character will function. So you have things like inner strength and eye patch, which will take keywords away, but you'll also have things like growth on the left side, which may make you want to play on your left side a little bit more. Dueling pistol on the left side, which may make you want to play on the left side more. Bonesaw changes, healing things into damage on a red character. This replaces the right side with Copycat. This takes away item slots from one character, but gives item slots to your other characters. So these items are typically going to change function and make you play differently. First turn cannot die. So you can play a character that has a high pip value that kills themselves, and you can stop that from happening, like Gast or Barbarian or someone like that. Um, this Tiara adds self heal to mana gain. You can cancel out Warlock's Pain on his character, and you don't have to worry about healing him so much. Wand grips +2, and then it becomes single use. So you can kind of see how the function of your character may change from these items. They're generally good. They're generally a net positive for your character. So, but they're not like super amazing. So you don't have to like stress a whole bunch. This isn't like game critical, but they're all helpful things. So you do want to get something that does help. Short sword can help you cover up some blanks because there's several characters that their right side is blank and can roll down for their good side a lot more with something like that. Like if we wanted to get rid of the stun here, which we don't. So eye patch is good on roulette. It's good on Maiko. And a few characters. Like a lot of times these items will have a few characters that they work with, and this is more of an investment thing that we might get a character like that, or Gast, Barbarian, Roulette. There's a few heavy hitters that can benefit from this item, and it's not going to do much right now. You could use it to get rid of the pain, but it also gets rid of the shield. So you could do something like, let's see, like this. No, you don't want to do that. You could get rid of the pain on this side. You could do it on someone like him as well, or whatever, which we're not going to do any of this stuff, but it has uses to counter items like this and whatnot. I think this is generally the best setup that I've got going on right now, but you can, it doesn't just have to go on a few characters. You can improve like a negative attribute from an item or something like that. Okay, so Herbalist is being killed by snipers, and it's unlikely that we'll get to the snipers, so we definitely wanted to get that shield there to keep her alive. And this team has a high damage output, which you can just clearly see my team is already in rough shape. So we definitely want to focus on trying to eliminate some of these threats versus trying to defend everything, because they'll out damage us. So right now I'm thinking, do I want this stun to prevent this damage? But I'd rather him do some damage. We've got our character that's dying protected. And we can drop on this sniper. Be nice if you came up with 3 damage. There we go. Alright. We'll keep Herbalist healthy here. This fight's pretty much done. right. Cracked wheel is a super strong item. Um, how consistent are we? 'Cause, these ghosts are bastards. They have this ability called eliminate, and they will pile in on a character that's already dying and make them very tough to save. So you definitely want to try and pop that ghostly HP at the beginning, so that on turn 2 you can get rid of them. And if you can get rid of them on turn 1, even better. But it's like you could put this item on someone like Evoker, because if he ever hits the 3 side, I'm keeping it. So, no big deal if that side is sticky and then everyone else gets an extra roll. The issue is that you'd want to be able to neutralize some of these characters pretty quickly to get back to the normal fight, and I don't know if I can do that. This drop is great for getting rid of these zombies, and these guys will go right above him and stop that from working. It's something that you could do. If I had some other way to get rid of zombies quickly, I would probably do it. Oh, we've got this. That's about it. My yellow had 4 attack, I would go for it. Okay, so we got Pilgrim with the pocket phylactery situation I was talking about, or we can do Knight. Both of these are good choices. I prefer Knight, but Pilgrim is good with this, reuse. If you have some real powerhouse characters here, it could definitely be helpful. But Fruit's not really a powerhouse character. He's more of a show up and does his job kind of guy. And Ranger's also that sort of show up and do your job kind of guy. So and his stuns work great on the ghost to keep him from coming at you pretty strong. But I just prefer Knight, because of his parry tactic. He can pretty much always turn. He can always create shields out of thin air, pretty much. So. Is this better? You know what? I'll keep it. I like it. Take it on turn 1. I'll take this to pop this ghost character. So he's already trying to kill one of our characters off. And then you guys will roll for 4 damage to try and deal with these zombies here. So we can drop, get rid of this zombie shield, and we'll hit this guy. This damage might be wasted, but we'll see. Do that to keep Herbalist alive. This is good, this is good. And then you two will roll. Drop on the zombie and we're good. I know we're not far into the game yet, but I'm trying to give as much advice as possible at this early part of the game, and future videos won't be this dense. So, Demon Horn, I don't like this item a whole lot. It's decent. If you can get rid of the inflict pain, um, or you already have inflict pain on something, so something like this, we can just Demon Horn it, and it just does more damage, and we don't have to deal with the pain damage to ourselves. But Shimmering Halo is good on most gray characters. Be good on red characters as well. Um, it's pretty good on Knight as well, since if Knight has a weakness, maybe it's a 7 HP, it might be these blank spots, but usually since all of these sides are good, the blank spots aren't terrible because you're willing to settle with pretty much anything with him. So it Xing out on both of these is pretty hard. So we have Herbalist who can deal with this grave pretty easily, but it is something that you'd want to think about if you don't have Herbalist. This Banshee is pretty nasty as well. She's got these 3 poison sides and 4 weakens, 5 to 2 people. This is a nasty, nasty unit. And she also has the mana burn after an ability is used, which isn't usually terrible, but you just kind of have to remember that not leave your characters on 1 health. Go for 2 if you can. And we'll roll him 1 time, see if he can do better. And you'll see that a lot. Like, if you have 2 rolls, you can gamble a little bit, but if you have 1, you probably want to look at settling if you can get an X or something that's worse. And okay, so that puts her at 5, and then we can get rid of this grave, leave ourselves with 2 health, and we'll wait, keep the man in the bank just to make sure, if we don't need it, it would be a waste to use it now. 5 damage kills him or her. Then we can drop on this bones, get rid of it. Okay. Tier 12. This is the part, like, if you're intermediate, if you've got over 100 games, 200 games, something like that, this is going to be the part of the video that is most helpful for you. Most of the stuff that I've talked about is for people between 100 and 200. But above that, this is where the game starts right here. So your tier 3 choices are going to tell you what your in-game strategy can be. The 3 main strategies that you will typically be able to accomplish in this game is Steal, because it is available on 3 yellow characters, and Curator. So you have a high chance of getting at least 1 character that can take advantage of this strategy. Okay. The second most common strategy is something with like Weaver, mana gain. Um, Ace can kind of make a lot of mana as well. Sorcerer can make a lot of mana sometimes. And you get Curator with this charged attack that does more damage the more mana that you have saved up. And there's lots of different ways to increase your mana output in the game. But the most this learn spark add mana gain to a side, you can use this ability to beef up your mana. You can cast it on Curator's charge side and get mana back for his attack. So you can double dip into it, and it's pretty strong. And then the third most common are scale characters with +1s. So you have Wizard, Sorcerer, and you have Agent, and they all have moves that start off with 1, but if you add anything to them, they become exponentially more powerful. And you're typically going to run into items that have some sort of +1 that can take advantage of that. So these characters are normally called carry characters because the more items that you can put on them, they just become exponentially stronger. Warlock is also pretty strong on his own. He can do 13 damage with 5 mana or 6 mana. And Barbarian is also like pretty strong on his own as well with this 8 damage side. And sometimes you can kind of slap together an in-game strategy just with these characters with decent items on them. Venom's also like a side strategy where you stack poison and then she doubles up on it and stuff like that. So there's more than one strategy to win the game, but what I've found is that the most common strategy is going to come down to something with Warlock, Sorcerer, Wizard, Weaver, or it's going to come down to one of these yellow characters with Steel, or some sort of like big mana making ability and whatnot. So looking at these characters, we can kind of see, okay, if we go Sorcerer, then we're going to be looking for +1 items. We're going to hope that we have some sort of +1 item in our inventory, which we don't right now, but most of their items come later on, so if you don't, it's not a huge deal. They start getting better equipment after this fight, actually. So Sorcerer is kind of like one of those characters that if you have to pick him early, you're just kind of dealing with the fact that you just have a subpar character for a little bit. And you might not be able to afford that. If you can't kill these ghosts and get past floor 12, then it doesn't matter what he can do in the end game. So, Wanderer is one of those characters who can just kind of be a carry on his own, without like much items or anything like that. And another thing you might consider are the curses here, and how bad these characters are as well. Still a little early to be doing the in-game planning, but you can kind of start seeing the pieces come together with these choices. And I'm going to go Wanderer here because I don't want to become weaker in this fight. You could go sorcerer because we have this powdered mana. And so he won't be like useless. He'll, still probably make 3 or 4 mana per turn. You could really go either character here, but I feel like Wanderer is going to keep my power level roughly the same. So do we want to do with this item? Could put it on him, but that gets rid of his engage. Put on herbalist and get rid of the pain on that side. Yeah, I think that's the way I want to do it. Or we'll roll one time to try and hit this defy, and then if we don't hit it, we'll take damage if we can get it. Still gonna roll you. Still gonna roll for damage. We need to pop these ghosts in this fight as quickly as you can. We'll get some health on our guy here. Doing inflict exert, which we may end up still using to get through this part. We'll see. Sometimes if you're like trying to do too many calculations in your head, just lock all the dice and see where you're at. So we can kill you. Okay, he's doing poison to her. We kill him, just barely save our guy here. We can get rid of this poison. Okay. Get 2 mana from hitting him with that. Get rid of this ghost and the guy on top. If we do this to him, he'll live this turn and we don't have to exert these other 2 characters. They got exerted anyway. Come on, guys. Need you to do better here. Oh, we've got lethal just barely. Skills or karma? So, karma is one of those items I was talking about before that just completely changes the way that your character will function. It's adding the pain to the damage sides can be kind of rough on characters like Forsaken and Wraith, who are depending on their damage sides to do something a lot of the times. It's not a terrible item. You can put it on someone like Knight, but that putting pain on the damage side is not great. It's generally a net positive, but you want to avoid this side of it. And then scales can be tough to make good. A lot of the times it's going to be like a right side item that rightmost item that this thing can take advantage of on a yellow character. So if you had something like Harpoon right here, you could get a 3 vulnerable with the scales off of your Iricide. You could put it on Evoker so that he has 2 3 sides. It's not terrible. And this guy has nothing, so it doesn't even help. And we won't have Evoker forever. Because most characters on tier 3 don't have much on their right hand side a lot of the times anyway. Like, this is blank, this is a 1, that would become a 3, big deal. The 1 that becomes a 4, but it's a res. This is blank. This is already the highest side. That's already the highest side. You got blanks here. That's already the highest side. That's blank. Everything's 1 here. So a lot of the times, scales won't do much unless you have an item that gives you something on the right hand side. So, but I would rather take can't put it on Herbalist right now, and it doesn't go well with this character. I guess since this item is useful now, we'll take it, but it's not 2 great choices. Maybe random there. But I'm not a big fan of randoming. If I can see some value. Once we get to the tier 7 items, that's when I start to tighten up my standards on the items. The 7 through 9s are the ones that are going to make the most impact on your characters. So we can pop this guy and we can drop this guy. Do that, and then this shield ends up being worthless, but not a huge deal. Otherwise, he'd be exerted this turn anyway. Okay, so now that we have Wanderer, we do want to think about how these other character picks are going to start synergizing with each other. Prince is not good, and Shaman is good, so I feel like this is generally the easy choice. Unite, he, you want stuff like Heal Shield that like double dip into this Unite requirement to play this character. So if you have Heal Shield here, you want something like Attack Shield or Attack Heal or something like that, and it makes this Unite much more likely. he goes well with Ace as well, so he has some synergize potential. But since I know Wanderer doesn't do anything to help him, and this is still kind of early for him, and there's just no reason to not pick Shaman here. She also comes with a cleanse, and your gray or red character, you want one of them to have cleanse. If you don't end up doing enough damage to kill the boss quickly, cleanse becomes more and more important the longer that you expect the fight to take. So, we'll go Shaman, and we can keep doing this. The 10 heal doing 10 damage is tough, though. Did you get rid of the Grant Vitality there? Do it on Wanderer, and he loses the Defy, which makes him pretty useless. Might not have a good use for this right now. You could do something like this, maybe? No. Gotta do this. He can just take 4 damage, but it kind of cancels that out. Yeah, maybe we just don't use it right now. Okay. When you get into this section of the game, you want to be looking for formation weaknesses if you can find it. And in this particular fight, what it looks like, what you want to do is do enough damage to these claws that you can overkill them and get rid of these bandits as well. So the first turn, we're going to focus on trying to do damage to these claws so that we can get rid of them next turn. Four damage just perfectly kills you. Ah. And then we're gonna keep ourselves healthy here and set up for turn 2. Okay, let's see where we're at here. We'll hold on to this for now, just in case our characters don't do anything here. I'm gonna kill this claw. I'm gonna set this guy to 1 so that he can easily be killed next turn. And we're gonna focus on keeping our characters healthy here and able to do. So now we've got Knight who can overkill. We've got Wanderer who can overkill as well. And worst case scenario, we can kill this bandit and drop onto the Caw as well. But we'll give ourselves at least one chance to be able to do that, and we do. We're out of here. Okay. Wine goes with Sorcerer and Venom. It can kind of help if your orange is bad. It can, do multiple damage to multiple targets at the same time. And we do have, like Pocket Phylactery, so we could beef someone's health up quite a bit, like Shaman, and just sit there and eat poison all day, and it's not a big deal. Sharp Wit, I think it, goes best on someone like Gast or Ace, someone that their mana side is not as valuable. And then, crappy enough, they offer us 2 tier 4 items as a trade instead of one other 7 item, which kind of sucks. Because I would probably random either one of these under normal circumstances. We'd like this item to marry up to one of our damage dealing characters, or one of our at least one of our tier 3 characters. Since we already have them, we know who they're going to be. It's a good time to invest in that character. Sharp Wit gives you a 3 damage side. I'm gonna go with this not happily. But it could be helpful with all these Caw eggs, so I'm gonna go with it. 3 of them hatching. Need to do 4 damage. I'm gonna roll down you, because we're gonna need more. I'm gonna roll everyone for damage, because the more Caw eggs that we can stop from hatching, the easier this fight's going to be. Stop one of them. You know what? We should go for one of these guys on the bottom. That way we can drop on this Caw. Wanderer healthy. Try to keep you healthy. We'll take our 1 mana. And we're just going to try and ignore this chomp as much as possible and get rid of these Caws as we go. Can you please do more? Three damage gets rid of this Caw egg on the bottom. Ooh, tough rolls. Hmm. Yeah, I think it's unfortunate that we had 3 claw eggs hatch on the first turn, and this one has to be finished off as well. This gets rid of you. Gets rid of you. Blue. Be nice if you got a heal, Shaman. Maybe something a little bit better than that. And we finish off this character. Drop, shield. Nice if you rolled your heal sides ever. Alright. Down 2 characters, but it'll be okay. Tarantus is going to guarantee kill Ranger here, and we don't have anything to dodge it as well. Hey, look, there's Ghast with that wine item. Ranger is not as good since he depends on his engage side, and with wine taking away engage, it's going to be tough for him to get good value. And Evoker likes anyone that can help him produce mana since his ability is pretty strong. And right now, I want to go with something that can help my team recover here. We'll take this heal since Shaman finally decided to roll it. And we'll look to get rid of some of these spiders this turn if we can. Man, Evoker's just determined to be bad no matter what. Set these spiders up to die. We'll get Dabless back up. And we'll set this guy up to die next turn. Let Evoker eat some of this. And heal. These are all decent rolls. Still dies by +5. 8 damage. We can save him. And Dabalist. I'm gonna try to let the poison do some work on these characters a little bit. Heal would be nice. Dying to this though, so we can take that and then we'll try to get some sort of heal for night here. We can get rid of this and we can get rid of have him save himself. Set this guy up to die this turn. And this is good since he's attacking her. If we can go ahead and get rid of his HP, so that's 8 damage. We've got it right now. So we'll go ahead and sacrifice her and do as much damage with everybody else that we can. So set him up to die next turn with any sort of damage. Alright. This is typically what I call the survival test. And it's going to have fanatics, wisps, snipers, wizards, basilisks, and stuff like that. There are going to be things that are going to do a lot of damage and try to kill you. And it sort of tries to press on a weakness of the floor 16. The bosses will often be able to force a character death out of you, like with Tarantus and his special HP. But you can also get inflict death from Basalt. His death beam is pretty strong on its own. You saw Tarantus does like 11 damage on his attack as well, and that can be really tough to defend. So you get it. Character death. Excuse me. Get some water. So you can force a character death out of you, and then they can be tough to defend otherwise. Ed Cleave. So this item is sort of deceptive, I would say, because it actually tends to be really good on shield characters. Adding Cleave to multiple characters. The middle side is usually not a very good damage side. On Daedalus, it happens to be, but a lot of the times it's not. And like if you look at your yellow characters, okay, that's 8 Cleave is good on him. 3 is not bad. It's not good. This is okay. That's pretty good. Nothing. So, but a lot of the shield characters have shields in the middle that it can be helpful on. So, but Spark is like a game-winning move. A lot of times you want some move that has a high pip value, which we do. It's Shaman's Pinheal. We can cast this on that and get some mana out of that. Also, you've got copycat possibilities with wanderer as well. So we're starting to see an in-game plan form here around Spark. So we're gonna keep it on her since she's most likely to survive. And yeah, we still don't have uses for these items, but that's okay. It doesn't look like we will. We won't get roulette. And I think we passed on Gast already, so this is less likely to be helpful. But let's see, is this okay on you? Maybe later. You could do something like this and this. And she just hurts herself with the 4 side. We'll go with that. We've got wine to help us out a little bit in this fight. So I'm gonna try and just do damage as much as possible. If we can stop this poison, that would be nice, but I don't think we can, but it's okay. We can get rid of him this turn. If Knight decided to do something, we wouldn't have been as bad shape. Yeah, unfortunately that stun's gonna get wasted here, but it's okay, fight's over anyway. So Artificer is not generally too good. We're kind of going around this mana gain situation with Spark, and Artificer can't tap into that ability that well. Blades is not going to be good. We probably want Warlock. Wizard's not bad because of the Inspire, but he's not ideal. And Weaver is also a good choice since he can just double mana up himself and you can just have crap loads of mana. So that's generally what we're looking for at this point. So I'm going to hold this blue pick so that we can take advantage of this Spark. And it's actually a good thing to see a crap blue here. It narrows down the pool of blue characters so that we can get the one that we. So we'll stick with this. This is a possibility. Cantrip mana is only okay. Yeah, I actually think I am just going to keep that on him. I'd rather have that than the cantrip mana. Well, I put that 3 on the other side, and I feel like he never hits it. I'll roll you a little bit. Okay, I'll take that. Alright, bunch of caws again, and we even have another caw. We can get rid of one of them. Save Poa some damage. I think what we'll do is we'll leave ourselves the 3 mana. Just keep ourselves flexible here. Nice. Boy, that never happens. Okay, so you're about to see Spark be disgusting. So we got 20 mana, so you can kind of see what the in-game strategy here is now. I'd rather do this. Yeah, fight's over. Time Stone or Helm of Power. Okay, so your tier 9 item is one of the most important item to get. And typically what it's supposed to do is double the power of one of your characters. So if you're trying to make a carry character so that you can survive the hand fight, this is the item that you're probably going to be more focused on than any other one, because that's what turns a good character into a carry character, is just doubling their output. So we're kind of depending on Spark here being our main damage dealing. So we'd like an item that makes our blue character better, but we don't have our blue character yet. Trying to see if this time stone is useful in any kind of way. Because unfortunately, like, if we could get a third item over here, it wouldn't be terrible on Evoker. But since we can't, it's not good. You could do this and have a 10 mana sign. And again, like I was saying, scales tends to be good if you have an item that can get onto that right side. We could put Spark on you, and then we're looking at this stuff. It's not good. So I'm gonna random and see if I can get. So this is not bad. Not a bad thing. We'll keep this set up like this. And we'll have second heart on you and that. I guess you can hold Spark. No. So we'll continue with the plan. This shouldn't be too difficult here. One, two. I think we're just going to put damage on the call for the first time because this guy's not doing anything too threatening. So I think we can get away with damaging these guys up a little bit and just beefing up our team in general. I'm gonna save this mana. We could drop and get rid of this Caw, but I'll save the mana and then hopefully we can get rid of this Caw this turn. I think he gets a double save off of that, which would be nice. Yeah. Let's see, 10 health, 14. Yeah, he sure does. 1, 2, spark. 3, 4, 5. Even just let him do that and then kill this Caw this turn as well. Let the poison take him. Hexia. So we're hoping our final choice is gonna be Wizard or Warlock. It looks like we got Wizard. Do we still want Wizard? Yeah, I think we're gonna stick with the Spark plan. Because he just can't do anything with this. At least with Inspire, you can get more mana. This is unfortunate that we're going against Hexia because she has the mana burn, but we'll do a couple things to kind of beef ourselves up here. We can get Wizard up to 28 health with this Pocket Phylactery combo here, which will be pretty strong, I think. And we'll stick with the the Spark plan and whatnot. And then we can do the 10 mana plan. Then that leaves you holding. Yeah, we'll put it on you. And yeah, this ended up being useless, but no big deal. And yeah, we should be good. And they're coming out swinging here. We go ahead and take our boost. We can take our 10 mana. 3 damage is good since we have wine. We can get rid of one of these guys. We can take this and get a boost on someone as well. I think 2 to all would be nice, but that's also good. So we can boost you up to 3. Now he's got 8 damage sides. I think what we're gonna do is go ahead and get rid of it. You wouldn't normally do this. I've just got crap tons of HP on Wizard, so he can handle it. I'm gonna keep Poet protected since he's gonna be the one in most danger. I'll leave myself 2 mana so I can spark next turn. I'll take this. We can get mana game from him. I think I'll stick with that. Alright, let's stick in the game here. Now we want to get damage from these guys this turn. 3 mana is great. This is what we're looking for. Alright. With the mana burning one time. Saves both of them. So we'll do this. Spark this. What are you at? So if we subtract 4, that's 8. Yeah, so spark on this. 14. It doesn't quite save him. So do this, then spark. Saves both of them and makes 18 mana. He's got to do it on. You got to do it like this. And set her up that she'll have 1 HP next turn, but we'll only have these 2 characters to fight her. Oh man, we're done. So, you kind of saw the strat being developed as I went. I've done something similar with Wizard and Spark before, and kind of annoying that the last boss fight ended up being Hexia and kind of messing with mana-based strategy. But it's okay. You saw that you could fight through it. We could have gotten heals on Shaman to try and help keep Wizard alive, but that's it was a variation of different strategies that I've done before, like having a dodge on your blue character, or just give them second heart and have them have a crap ton of health. So there's different things that you can do to go about it. And yeah, I mean, this video is like over an hour and 40 minutes long so far. I hope you learned something. If you want me to go more in depth with the in-game planning or something like that, let me know. But I think this will be a strong start with learning how to make decisions and stuff like that, and we can go deeper into